This course is presented to you free of charge by TTJ Tech Services of www.ttjtech.biz and by Stir It Up of www.stiritup.com. And remember, stir is spelled with a U, not an I, so that's STURITUP.com. TTJ Tech Services and Stir It Up are pleased to offer this course to you to the glory of God and to the benefit of all those who listen. And welcome to iPad for All Computing, session 14. We're talking today about the Files app. And I'm very excited about this because this is very important to some people. And for some people, it really is the deal breaker if they don't have it, right? I mean, for years, there were those of us who said you could use the iPad as a computer desktop replacement, clear back to 2015, 2016. And one of the biggest complaints people had is, well, there wasn't file management. I couldn't access my remote server. I couldn't access this or that. I, couldn't download files. Well, you sort of could, but there wasn't really a way to store them and all of these things, right? And part of that was an attempt to minimize the confusion that often comes with the file system, right? If you're a Windows user, you understand this especially because things are going very well when you're teaching somebody how to use a computer. And then you get to the hierarchical file system, C:\users / whatever, right? And it just becomes very complex. Well, from the beginning, Apple, I believe, has sought to change that. And the primary focus has always been use the app that created the document or the file to open it. That makes sense. If you receive an email, use the mail app to access it, right? Go to the mail app for your mail. Go to the calendar app for your events. So why not go to the Pages app for your documents, for example? And that works very, very well. But if you are really going to use the iPad as a full-time desktop replacement, there are going to be some cases where you need to be able to access a sort of a file system. Now, Apple has decided, and I am a strong believer of this, I support this decision 100%. I don't think people need to be accessing system files, right? I think that the unfettered access to the file system, as much as some people might want it, really is not wise and not necessary, right? And Apple has chosen not to do that, not to allow that unfettered access. But they do provide access to many files and folders and ways to add third-party services. And so we'll talk about that. Why do we need this? Well, again, if we're going to use the iPad as a full-time desktop replacement, there's a couple of reasons we might need this. So I've told you that it makes sense to access the files you want from within the app that was used to create them. Access your Pages files in the Pages app. Access your Keynote files in the Keynote app. And if you absolutely must, access your Word documents from within the Microsoft Word app. But what if you have a file that was sent to you that wasn't necessarily used, it wasn't necessarily created with an app that you have on your iPad? What if it's a file that might work in multiple apps that doesn't really have one single app that it needs to live in? What about PDFs? What about photos? What about file attachments? There are a lot of variables here. And for that reason, it makes sense to be able to access files and folders just for the intrinsic value of accessing those files and folders. Not only that, but what about a scenario where you have more than one type of file all associated with the same project? For example, maybe we're working on a science project, and that requires us to use numbers to create spreadsheets. It requires us to use Pages to document some things. It requires us to create a presentation in Keynote. It requires us to create some videos, maybe even a music track in GarageBand. How can we keep all of those together so that it's easy to find and not forget about all the files that relate to a single event or project. And so consequently, it is very quickly easy to see the need for some way to access these files and folders. And the answer to that is the Files app. Now, if you are a Mac user, you will recognize the Finder as the way to access your files and folders. And on iPad OS and iOS, it's the Files app. They're going to offer a lot of the same features and functionality. And really, you do not need any third-party file management systems or apps, because the Files app will do everything you need. Baked right into the Files app, of course, is iCloud Drive. And beautifully, this gives you access to all files and folders across all devices. I really prefer to use iCloud Drive whenever it is possible to do so, because if I store things in iCloud, I know those things are available on all of my devices. And so one of the most important places, I believe, my favorite place, and I hope one of yours, is iCloud Drive. In the Files app, you're going to be able to access all of your files and your folders. And there will be what appear to be some folders already in the iCloud Drive location. If we're really being technical about it, they're actually called libraries, but they act like folders. And these are essentially folders that were created by a specific app. So when you open Pages for the first time, you'll get a Pages library. In other words, a Pages folder. And your Pages documents will by default be stored there. And same thing with Numbers, Keynote, a lot of these different apps, GarageBand, I believe they're all going to have these libraries or folders. And of course, it is possible to make your own folders in iCloud Drive and even subfolders, right? That's folders within a folder. It's possible in the Files app to rename, move, copy, duplicate, paste, delete, download, compress, extract, organize. What have I missed, right? There's tons of things that we can do, just like any good file management app would allow. One of my favorite things to do is to create tags. A tag is a friendly little descriptor that can be attached to a file, or I believe a folder, but definitely a file. And this is a great way to organize files as well. So we'll talk more about that. But basically, you can tag something with a tag like home or family or work or science project, like I said before, or, TTJ or whatever it is you're working on at the time. And you can even have multiple tags for the same file. You can have color-coded tags. And so there's just a lot of ways that we can organize our files and our folders. And of course, we would be remiss if we did not mention sharing and collaboration. It is possible to share an individual file by email, by messages, or through other means. It's also possible to share an entire folder. And it is possible to collaboratively share. You can make a shared folder that 2 or more people can add files to. You can also make public folders that people can access simply with a link. So there's lots and lots of options in the Files app. But it doesn't stop there, because so far I've only talked about iCloud Drive. And while I do believe that's the best and most important location in the Files app, it's not the only location. You also have the local storage, which is going to be called whatever your device is, like on my iPad or on my iPhone. So for this class, it's on my iPad, right? And that is local storage. And there are times when certain apps will automatically create libraries that are stored in the on my iPad location, right? So they're local and they're not going to sync, but that's for, the reasons that the developers have chosen to do that. So you may have some things there as well. In addition to the local storage and the iCloud storage, you can also connect third-party cloud services like pCloud, Dropbox, Google Drive, Microsoft OneDrive, Box, and others. And so the way to connect those is to install their apps, right? If you want to access Google Drive from the Files app, you install the Google Drive app and sign into it, and then it will be available in the Files app to connect as a location that you can use. So you can do everything in the Files app. This makes it really convenient to be able to move things back and forth, for example, to copy things from Google Drive to iCloud Drive and so on, and just to be able to access both all in the same location, all in the same place. I've mentioned Dropbox, I've mentioned Google Drive, pCloud, and others, and Microsoft OneDrive. These can all be added to the Files app once you install the third-party apps for those services and sign into them. Apple does a great job of that, of making these third-party things available within their apps. And so it's really, really simple to do. It's also possible to access removable storage. I gave you the example the other day of an SD card. Now, when we talked about accessing an SD card, you might remember that I told you to access it from the Photos app. I said you have to open the Photos app, and then you can import the pictures from your camera card and choose whether to keep them on the card or not. But another thing you can do when you put an SD card in is you can access it through the Files app. Maybe they're not pictures. Maybe they're other things. Or maybe they are pictures, but you don't want them in your photo library. You just want to work with them as image files. And so you can access them from the removable storage, SD card, USB flash drives, thumb drives, whatever you want to call them, and even external hard drives, right? We can access all of these from the Files app. And if we have one of the newer iPads, it is possible to even work directly from an external hard drive. For example, the LumaFusion video editing app allows you to keep your very large, potentially, video files on your external hard drive and work from them right there. USB-C, Thunderbolt, they're fast enough. These M1, M2 processors on these iPads are fast enough that you can work with the files right on the external hard drive in an app without having to even copy them over to the iPad. So they don't have to take up iCloud storage or local storage on your device. They can just stay on the external hard drive, but you can still be editing them. It's also possible to add the servers that I mentioned, local, like NAS, network attached storage devices. These are hard drives essentially that are connected to your internet through the Wi-Fi router or the gateway, whatever, via Ethernet. So they're now living on your network, and it's possible to access them locally and even away from home at times. You can connect to these servers. You can connect to SMB servers. There's all kinds of things that we can do in the Files app. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a demo of some of this, and we'll move some files around and look at the options that we have to do that.
Files, sync with iCloud.
It landed me on the status bar at the very bottom. It says we're synced with iCloud. All right, praise God, that's good. Well, first of all, I will tell you that this is a sidebar app. If you touch the upper left of the iPad,
hide sidebar button.
There's the sidebar. Hide, we're not going to hide it. We want to keep it visible for right now. It contains the locations we can access. So let's start swiping to the right and look what those are. I will tell you ahead of time that the sidebar is editable.
Hide more button.
Let's look at this more button.
Scan documents. Connect to server button. Edit sidebar button. Dismiss context.
And we'll dismiss that. So that third option you heard in there was edit sidebar, so that we can edit what's on the sidebar. If we need to add locations from third-party apps like Google Drive, pCloud, Dropbox, or OneDrive, for example, we can easily go into edit sidebar and we can add the ones we want. We can remove or reorder other items as well. And I will also tell you, you might have heard in there scan document. It's possible to scan a document right into the Files app here using your camera. And we can scan modern devices support OCR for text, and they support scanning images, and so we'll talk about some of that later on in this course. But it is possible to scan a document right into here, and you also heard connect to server, which I already told you is possible to do. So that's where that's done. It's in that more button. So we're at the top left of the iPad screen.
Hide sidebar.
We have the hide sidebar button, but just to its right is the button where we found those options: scan document, edit sidebar, connect to server.
More. Button.
Right under there, more, okay? All right, now let's keep going. Let's swipe to the right.
Files, heading.
This is the sidebar.
Recents, button.
The first section we can access is Recents. If I choose this, the right side of my iPad, or probably the right 2/3 of the iPad really, will have the documents, the files, what have you, that I've recently worked with, recently received, recently opened, whatever, I guess. And really, this is one way to access a lot of things quickly.
Shared button.
shared. So this is a way to access all the things that I've shared with others or that others have shared with me. Files and folders that we're collaborating on, I can see them very, very quickly in this shared section.
Locations button. Heading expanded.
Now you by now should
tap to collapse.
should be familiar with these expandable and collapsible sections of the sidebar. We've seen them in the TV app, the music app, the books app, the podcasts app, the photos app. We've seen these in a lot of places, right? Talk about predictable patterns. This is expanded and it has the locations. Let's see what I have.
Selected iCloud Drive button.
My personal favorite.
On my iPad button.
There's that local storage I told you about.
Recently deleted button.
Recently deleted is going to be there.
Favorites button. Heading expanded.
And that's another section.
Double tap to collapse.
So I only have 3 locations. I have iCloud Drive on my iPad and recently deleted. And if I want to manually delete things from recently deleted rather than wait the number of days for them to automatically delete, or maybe some systems don't delete them at all, I can manually delete them. I can also recover something if I've accidentally deleted it and it's in the recently deleted section. I can recover it as well. But those are the 3 sections. I do not have any third-party file services on my iPad. I do have the Google Drive app on my iPhone because I use that for a few things, very, very few, but every once in a while I've had to use it at different times. I used to have Dropbox, don't even have that anymore. I think I still have the free account if I ever needed it, but I really don't use it. I really don't use Google Drive either, except that I have a client who is in a Google school, so and I had a couple things on Google Drive for other reasons too, but really not very much, and really hardly ever use it. So on the iPad, I don't even have it. I just have iCloud Drive on my iPad and recently deleted. Now the next section you hear is the favorites section. You can add folders and files to your favorites. You can add these, and I'll show you how to do that. But the favorite section will contain the folders that you add. They've put one there for you by default.
Downloads button.
It's the downloads folder, and you can choose where things get downloaded. You might remember us talking about that with Safari. In your Safari settings, you can choose on my iPad or iCloud Drive. I've, of course, chosen iCloud Drive. And then what I've also done is I've gone to my iMac and I've made the downloads location the same iCloud Drive downloads folder as it is for my iPad and iPhone. So everything that gets downloaded now on all of my devices is also available across all of my devices. So this is the downloads folder. They've added it. Apple has put it in favorites for me. I could add other things to favorites if I wanted to, but I don't think I have.
Tags button.
Right.
Heading expanded.
Here's the tag section.
Double tap to collapse. Actions available.
Remember I told you the tags are friendly little descriptors that you can attach to files. And so these are the ones that I have. You'll see them right now. You'll hear them.
Faith button. The Vessel button. JSBS, Faith Summit, Family, Podcasts, TTJ, Purple, Gray, Red, Space Course, Apple Logo, Important, Home, Blue, Orange, Yellow, Work, Titanic, Church, Green, Back, button.
And then we switch.
See folders you viewed previously.
We automatically jump over to the right side because that was the end of the sidebar. You can see that I've created a lot of tags. There are some color tags that I think were already created for me. And then I've created Faith, Family, Faith Summit, TTJ, Titanic, Church. There was Home and Work. I don't remember if I created those or if they existed already. But these tags are ones that I can easily assign different files, and we'll show you how to do that. Now, on the right side, or the right 2/3 of the iPad, then of course it's going to display whatever you've chosen on the left. We know that I have iCloud Drive chosen on the left, but I think I'm actually in a folder here because the back button is right there.
That's folders you viewed previously.
That's on the right. Let's keep swiping right to see where I actually am.
Forward button.
Forward as well.
See folders you viewed previously. iCloud Drive heading.
Oh, well.
New folder button. Icons.
I guess.
TTJ team. TTJ Audio Workshop 2000.
Yeah.
Titanic folder. Space Course.
I think I'm as far back as I can go.
iCloud Drive heading. Back.
What would happen if I hit back?
Hide sidebar. Shared by Kliph. Dictate.
Oh, you know what it did?
Options. Apple TV Tuesday.
It put me into a folder that I previously viewed. It's not actually necessarily going back to like up a level. It's going back in time essentially to a folder that I previously viewed. So what we'll do is we'll go forward.
New folder. Forward. Hide sidebar. New folder. iCloud Drive.
And now we're on iCloud Drive. Okay. Now normally it will go back to the previous folder, but it just was a matter of timing, right? I recently viewed a folder and then I went back to iCloud Drive. So it's just, you can go essentially back through your journey. That doesn't always stay available, but for a limited time it does. All right, so we are in iCloud Drive, and it is the root of that folder. You see the back and forward buttons on the top there on the right, and then the name of the folder that we're in. In this case, it's just
iCloud Drive.
iCloud Drive. Now, if we swipe to the right, one of the most important things you're going to hear right off the bat is
New folder button.
New folder. So I can make my own new folder right here. Any folder that you're in, you can do this, okay? And then to the right of that
Icons button.
are some buttons that allow us to choose how we are sorting and how we are viewing the items in this folder. So we have icons.
Select button.
And then there's the select button. So the icons button, if we choose that, will give us other ways.
Icons. Selected. Icons button. List button. Columns button. Selected. Name. What kind. Date. Size. Tags. View options button. Dismiss content.
We'll dismiss that. So you notice there were really kind of two sections there. You had icons, lists, and columns. That's how we view the items in this folder. And then you saw how they're organized. They are arranged by name, by size, by kind, by tag, and even it has view options. So there's going to be additional options there we won't go into for the sake of time, but they are there. You can play with them. So that was the icons button.
Hide files.
Okay, I got to go back to the right side.
New folder. Icon.
Okay.
Button.
The next thing we heard was
Select button.
select. Now, what is this? Well, this is what we would call a multi-select option. It allows us to select multiple files at one time. And let's say you want to move 12 files to another folder, or you want to delete 12 files quickly. Whether they are contiguous or not, you can select them. And it's very much like doing this in the Messages or the Mail app. You simply open up this select screen and double tap anything that you want to add to the selection, right? And then there's going to be buttons. I think they're at the bottom. Let's actually look.
New icon. Select. Select. Done. Button.
Okay, I think they're at the very bottom here. Let's just swipe to the right first, though, and see.
Search. Dim. Dictate. Dimmed. ACEWAIOS.
Yeah, so they're going to be at the very, very bottom.
Toolbar. Delete. Dimmed. Button. More. Dimmed. More. Delete. Dimmed. But move. Dimmed. Button. Duplicate. Dimmed. Button.
Now, why are these all dimmed? Well, you know why? Because we don't have anything selected. So they're all grayed out. You can't do any of these things because nothing's selected, you understand? So right now,
Move. Dimmed. Button.
move. Well, what would we be moving? We haven't selected anything.
Duplicate. Share. Dim.
But I wanted you to see all of those options at the bottom of the screen. So if we have indeed selected 12 files, or however many we've selected,
49 items.
right, there's 49 items there. None are selected right now, but we have
Sync with iCloud. Toolbar.
all these things
Share,
on the toolbar.
dim,
Share, duplicate, move, delete, and more. And if we selected things, we'd be able to do that. Up at the top here,
Select all. Button.
there's even a select all button. This is on the right side of the screen.
Select items. Head forward.
And we're gonna-
Select all icons. Done. Button.
I'm going to hit done because we don't want to do any of that.
Done. Select. Button.
All right. Now we're going to start to get into the actual files in this location. And there is first
Search.
a search field so we can search for things, and a dictate field so we can dictate button
Tap
so
to start
we can voice search.
ACEWAIOS folder. 14 items. Shared by me. Art Studio Pro folder. 5 items. Hide sidebar.
Okay.
Church messages. Audio files. Audio exchange folder. 22 items. Shared by Cliff Miller.
You hear that these tell you automatically how many items are in them, and if it's shared, who's sharing it and all of that. So you get all the details just by swiping through these folders. And this is my list of folders that is on iCloud Drive. Some of them come from apps. Some of them I've made myself. You can hear, for example,
audio file, book file,
audio files. I've created that. Book files.
Brushes, folder, 8 items.
Brushes is an app on the iPad. We could find pages, for example, if we kept going, but let's just...
Church messages, clips 1, daddy website, desktop, documents, downloads.
There's downloads.
57 items.
And so you get the idea. This even has the desktop from my Mac on here and the documents folder from my Mac on here as well, even though I really don't store things there, but those are available here as well if I wanted to use them. So these are folders and files. I can create new folders and files, and I can open any of these up, of course, to see what's in them and to work with the individual files by simply tapping on them, or of course double tapping with VoiceOver. Now, there are many different ways to organize your files and folders, and how you do that is up to you, of course. It's personal preference. There's no right or wrong. What I like to do, and I haven't always done it this way because there are some things here that predate my ability to do this, or realizing and learning that I could do it, and I haven't gone back and corrected all of them. So there are some exceptions, and for other reasons too. But what I really like to do is I like to make the folders that match either the app or the kind of file. So the folders that are already created, like the libraries for Pages, Keynote, Numbers, GarageBand, and then I've made ones like audio files. You would see PDFs if you went further down here, video files. And then what I like to do is to tag my individual items. So maybe I have audio files that are related to our family vacation to the beach, so I would put beach vacation as a tag. Or maybe I have ones that are related, like church messages that I've preached, and I would put that under faith and under church and under the vessel, and these are the faith types of things. And then maybe I have and the beach one would have been under family too, by the way. And maybe I have things that are related to the classes, so I'd put them under TTJ and under work. All these tags, you remember. So that's the way I like to organize. I don't like to have a folder for everything. I don't have a folder for all that, but I have the tags. So I like to make the folders the app or the kind of file, and then tag them with what they pertain to. Now, as I said, I've not always been diligent about that, and I've not really gone back and made the correction in a lot of cases, so you'll see that I do have some folders that are specific projects like Titanic and so forth. And there are a couple other reasons why I do that, and that is that if I need to collaborate with somebody, then I'm going to make a folder, because you can't collaborate with tags, but you can collaborate with folders. So I can easily share a folder with other people. If I go to my tags,
home, blue button.
There's a blue tag, and
Important.
there's no way to
Action, Apple logo button. Action, delete, activate.
so you only have delete or activate. You can't share those, but you can share a folder. So
Gray. The vessel.
let's go back to iCloud Drive,
Recently deleted on my iCloud Drive.
and let's say that we want to open one of these folders. We'll just do that very simply here.
Attachments and photos. Audio exchange. Audio files. Folder. 259 items.
All right, there's a lot of stuff in there.
Swipe up or down.
Let's open that up.
O1 Rider GM audio.
It puts me right on the first item there, but if I swipe left, we can see some of the same things we saw before.
Dictate. Search. Select. Button. Icons. Button. New folder. Button. Audio files.
And of course we can go back.
Audio
Now,
files. Actions menu. Button.
there's an actions menu at the top here. We didn't have that before. Let's see what's in that.
Audio files. Share. Button. Folder. Middle. 23.86 gigabytes. iCloud Drive. Button. Rename. Button. Copy. Button. Move. Button. Get info. Button. Dismiss context menu. Button.
Now, some of those options,
iCloud.
really all of those options, are available in the long press menu. If we had not even opened this folder, we could have long pressed on audio files and seen those and more. But it's nice to know they're here in the actions menu at the top there. You can share this folder. You can see its size. You can get info. You can do all those different things, okay? All right, let's find a file we can listen to together, because this is audio files.
Video 415 2008 page 6 Eli practice Eli warm up Eli Elvis 22
I don't know really what I'm looking
Elvis
for.
2 Faith School.
I thought I had some little sounds
Eli
that were
warm up 2 Eli practice
royalty free.
Eli Lion Easter DTV develop date again crowd ambience COVID 2
Okay.
COVID course intro course ending counting draft counting corrected.
Oh, I know something we could listen to. Here's our course intro.
Course ending. Course intro. Audio. 3/.
All right, here's our you'll recognize this if you've listened to our podcast or our YouTube channel. It's the thing that plays at the beginning of the courses. So we'll just double tap it to open it up.
List button.
We'll swipe to the right.
Course intro. Share. Play.
There's a share button.
Share button.
Good to know, right? We need to know where that share button is. Open it up in other apps to work on it, send it to other people, collaborate, whatever. But let's play it.
Play.
And you are going to recognize this if you've listened to any of our stuff.
Play. Pause. Button.
This course is presented to you free of charge by T.
I hit done, okay? Now, doesn't that sound familiar? Now, that was our course intro. And so what we have is we can open up any of these files in what's known as a quick look interface. Kind of like when you open an attachment in the mail app and it shows you the attachment. If it's audio, you can play it. If it's a PDF, you can read it, you know, and other things too for other files. But then there's that share button that's going to allow you to actually open it up in other apps or send it to people or do whatever it is that you want to do. But let's try another one.
Course counting correct confess 5 collab cinematic whoosh capture buzz audio book music intro audio.
Oh, this was
buzz,
cool.
Capture audio in iCloud 4/5/22 10:39 p.m. 504 kilobytes.
You even notice that it tells you it's in It's so cool because it tells you it's in iCloud, so it's not taking up storage on my device. It tells you when it was modified or created. It tells you the file size. This is a CAPTCHA. What it actually is I demonstrated solving a CAPTCHA in Safari. So let's listen to that together because I didn't do that this year.
CAPTCHA share play button.
I have to complete this CAPTCHA.
Toolbar. Security challenge. Heading. Recapture requires verification. I'm not a robot. Checkbox. Unchecked.
Double tap.
Double tapped. Select all images with.
No, we're not going to do that.
Stairs. Get an audio challenge. Button. Press play to listen. Button.
Double tap.
Press play to.
Message of presence.
Enter what you hear. Enter what you hear. Text field. Insertion point M E S H E O X P O E F E N F E X
I don't know, I guess
C E.
we'll try it.
Get a visual. Enter what you get the new challenge. Get a visual help. Verify button. Your password. Secure text.
There we go. We're in. That's it, guys.
That was a little demo I had done a while ago of how easy it is to solve a CAPTCHA. Praise God, we don't have to do that very much anymore. Apple will do them automatically for you. You can set that to bypass CAPTCHAs, but I did have that, and that gives you an example of playing an audio file. If I decide that I want to share this right from here, instead of hitting done, I can go over here.
List. CAPTCHA. Share.
And I can hit share.
Carson CAPTCHA.
And like any other share sheet or share menu, it's going to give me my sharing suggestions first.
Send copy button.
First, before that though, you'll notice there's a button here, and this is really important when you're working with files and folders and notes and so on. You're going to have a button that determines how you share. Are we sending a copy or are we collaborating? Right now it's set to send copy, okay? It's already set to that. It's telling you the current state of it. If we want to change this to collaborate, we double tap on it to bring up the menu, and then we choose collaborate.
Collaborate button. Video.
Okay.
Picture and
So now,
airdrop. Family pattern.
you go back over here to the
Collaborate.
beginning, and you notice it says collaborate instead of send copy. Now, it has the sharing suggestions.
Only invited people can edit.
There's where you can choose that. So let's go through this again, okay? Let's get out of this completely. I just want to start that whole thing over to give you.
CAPTCHA. Only invited people. Dismiss pop-up.
Okay. So you're in here, you've listened to your file.
Share. Play.
You know.
Button. Play.
I have to
Pause.
complete this
Button.
CAPTCHA.
Pause. Button.
Security challenge. Heading reCAPTCHA requires verification. I'm not a robot. Checkbox. Unchecked.
Double tap.
Double tap. Select all images.
Pause.
We pause that, we say, yeah, this is good, I want to share this. Okay, over here to the share button.
Share. Button. CAPTCHA.
The first thing you're going to see, is whether it's going to send a copy or collaborate.
Send copy. Button.
Right now it's on send copy. The people I send this to will just get the file, and that is kind of where the story ends.
Carson Wayne.
You got sharing suggestions and so forth. And if you want to open this in another app, you leave it on send a copy, right? You have all these choices,
Jessica
sharing
Bond.
names,
Kylie
suggestions,
Bond, Pat Murphy,
and then
family, Fred, Edward, Nolan, airdrop message,
airdrop messages,
mail, button,
third-party apps.
notes, button,
Well, not even third-party, Apple Notes, but
freeform, button, Final Cut Pro, Amber, button,
third-party.
Convoy, button, voice memos, button,
You can open it up in voice memos,
backpack, button, iMovie, button,
iMovie,
clips, button, more, button,
and then this other section.
copy, button, add tags, button,
That's how you add tags, all right? That's where you actually add tags to, remember how we could pick home, family, church, faith, TTJ, Titanic? Well, that's where that list will be, and there's even an option there for new tags, so you can create a new tag in that screen. I'm going to go ahead and add the TTJ tag to this.
app, tags, heading, done, button, add new tag, button,
There's the new tag button, so I know if I want to create a new one, I can do that, but
Faith, The Vessel, JSB, Faith Summit, Family, Podcast, TTJ.
we'll select that one.
Selected, TTJ, purple,
And we'll
red, apple, import, home,
set,
blue, orange,
work.
yellow, work, button, selected, work,
So work is selected,
home,
and
selected, work, space, red, gray, pod, selected, TTJ.
TTJ is selected. So we'll hit done.
JSB, the, add, done, button,
Anyway,
list, button, cap, share, button.
back to the sharing list here, the share menu.
Add tags. Add save to files. Button.
Well, save to files, that's a good option to know about, but this is already saved to files, so we don't need to do it again. But that's good to know. A lot of files and so on, when you download them, when you access them, they will have that save to files option.
Download file. Edit actions. Button.
Okay, now, this is the send copy method. But let's suppose we go back up here to the top of the share sheet,
CAPTCHA. Send copy. Button.
and we change this to collaborate.
Collaborate. Button. Video.
Now,
Screenshot. Screen Wednesday, April 10th. Edit actions.
let's go back up.
Edit dismiss. Airdrop. Family chat. 3 people. Caption. Collaborate. Button.
You notice it says collaborate now,
Collaborate. Button.
and then there's a new button just to the right of that now.
Only invited people can edit. Forward. Button.
So, right now, it's a private file that is only going to be accessible by invited people, and they can edit. They can make changes. Now, really, this is an audio file, so they can't. They could certainly bring it into a third-party app, but then that would be, apart from that. But when you actually have files that support true collaboration for audio, that would be like GarageBand, and also it would be other kinds of files like Pages, Keynote, Numbers, and so on. Well, that means they're going to be able to make changes to the file as it is. So if we want to change any of those things, we can go into this button.
Done. Button. Done. Who can access? Heading.
And first we see who can access.
Selected. Only invited people. Button.
Only invited people or
Anyone with the link. Button.
anyone with the link. So you have that option, and then you keep going,
Permissions. Heading.
and we have permissions.
Selected. Can make changes. Button. View only. Button. Allow others to invite. Switch button. On. Allow
So you
others-
have can make changes or view only, and then allow others to invite. Now, if you're going to make this a public file with a link, where you have anyone with a link,
Permission. Anyone with the link. Button.
then I definitely suggest making it view only,
View only. Button.
right? Because you don't know what people are going to get access to it. So That's what you have, those choices, and then
Anyone
come
with
over here,
selected
hit
who
done,
Done button. Captcha.
and we're back to
Collaborate button.
now the collaborate menu instead of the send copy menu, because we've changed that. And again, we have our sharing suggestions at the top.
Mom, Kliph Pat, family, Fred, Edward, Nolan with airdrop messages.
Airdrop messages.
Mail, notes, reminders, freeform, Facebook, Zoom, Amazon, Amber, invite with link, button, Convoy, more, copy, search products on Walmart, find products on Amazon, download file, edit actions, button.
I don't know if you noticed this or not, but some of the choices are different than they were before. There are some things here that were not there before, and there are some things missing, I believe, that were here before. That's because we're collaborating instead of sending a copy. Now, an audio file is sort of not the most collaborative thing, right? As I said, unless you bring it into GarageBand, because if you open an audio file in a third-party app, it's not really, it is going to update that file, though. See, that's the thing. So you are actually collaborating on it as opposed to sending them a copy. If they open the file and make changes to it, you're going to see those changes. So it does reflect, even though it doesn't appear to be collaborative in the same way, like in Pages, you can real-time collaborate. You can both be working on the document at the same time. Well, except for like GarageBand, that's not really going to happen. But if they were to open this file without making another copy and open it in some audio editor and make changes to it, those changes will be reflected in your folder as well, right, if you collaborate. So it is, something to just keep in mind. All right, we're going to dismiss this.
Dismiss pop-up. List button.
And we're going to hit done.
Capture, share, play, done button. Hide sidebar button.
Now, I'd also like to show you what it looks like if you long press on a file, because you get a menu of options. There is a rotor, which you can use, but I prefer the long press menu in the Files app.
Book music ending 4/10/21 8:29 p.m. Audio in iCloud 4/10/21 8:29 p.m. 1.3 megabytes.
Okay, this
Actions
file happens to be the book music ending for the Titanic book that I wrote. If you listen to the audio book, it's the music that plays at the very end as the author is, the narrator is winding up the book. You hear this, and so we're going to long press it to see what the context menu has. Okay.
Download now. Download now.
First option is download now. Why is that there? Because this file is in iCloud. I can access it from my iPad, but it's not being stored on my iPad. If I want to download it for offline, I can choose download now. If it had already been downloaded, this would say remove download, okay? Because it's possible to remove the download without deleting the file. And if you are like me, you have your device set to optimize storage. It will automatically remove downloads if space becomes low. All right, so download now, that's available from the long press menu. What else does it offer?
Get info button.
Get info, we can learn more about this file.
Rename button.
Oh, rename, that's going to be important, right? How do you rename a file? You long press it and choose rename, very simple.
Compress button.
Compress, we can compress this to make it smaller. It's going to be a zip file when you do that. You can select multiple files and compress them into a folder that you can email to people. So if I want to email 5 files to a person without collaborating, I can compress them into one zip file, and that will send via email.
Duplicate button. Quick look button. New folder with item button. Tags button. Copy button. Move button. Share button. Open a new window button. Delete button. Dismiss context menu.
I hope you're getting how many options there are here. There were a lot of them, and I'm not going to go over every one of them, but you can delete them. You can, do all these different things. Copy, which is going to put it in the clipboard and we can paste it. Duplicate, which is going to create a second file just like the first one. It'll have a number 2 on it, I think, at the end to show you which one is which, or it'll say copy. It'll also, you have the duplicate option, that's what that does, but you also have the move option, and you can quickly move this. Now, if you're moving from one folder to another on iCloud Drive, it's not going to copy it. It's actually going to move the file. But if you are moving it to a different file system, like from iCloud Drive to, say, Dropbox, it will actually make a copy even if you choose move. And it will tell you that on the screen when you choose the move option. When you pick the location, it will say file will be moved to or file will be copied to. So you can actually read that and see what it's going to do. But that's generally the accepted wisdom, is if you're moving it to another location in the same drive, like iCloud Drive, it's going to actually move it, unless you choose copy. But we say if you choose move. But if you move it to another location, like Dropbox or Google Drive, then it will copy it anyway. What else did we have in this menu? We had compress, we had, the tags button, new folder with item, all right, makes a new folder with the item in it. Quick look, that brings up again that sort of quick look interface where you can play the file, whatever, you know. And so,
Duplicate, compress,
rename, all of these options, right? I mean, they're very cool and very useful. Let's do something. Let's teach you how to copy. So I've already explained move. Move is easy. If I want to move this to another place, I choose the move button.
Quick, new fold, tag, copy, move, button.
And it's going to bring up a screen where I simply select where I'm going to move it. But what about if I want to copy and paste rather than just move? And that's where there's going to be an interesting little experience. So let's try it. Let's hit copy.
Copy button. Cinematic capture
okay.
audio.
So presumably
book music intro, book music ending,
did it.
/21.
I'll do it again just for fun,
Get info.
because it didn't. It doesn't say when it does it, but I want to.
Tags, copy button.
Yep.
Cinematic
Okay, it's that easy. It just does it. All right, let's go out of this.
Apple Christmas audio, new folder, audio for back.
And maybe we're going to
Sidebar.
paste this in a folder like the folder that Kliph and I share.
Brushes, book, audio exchange, fold.
Okay.
Shared by Cliff Miller.
Now, how do we paste? How do we paste? We haven't seen that anywhere. Well, I'll tell you how we do it. Not with the edit rotor, that's for sure. That's pasting text. We don't want to do that. The way we do this is we have to long press on the status bar at the very bottom right of the screen here.
Sync with iCloud. 22 items.
See that? That's our status bar. We're going to long press that.
New folder button.
Gives us some choices. New folder.
New paste button.
Paste. There it is.
Move item here. Button.
Move item here would be a cut and paste instead of a copy and paste.
Scan documents.
It's another way to scan a document.
Get info.
And get info.
Dismiss
We're going to choose paste.
Move paste button.
And now
TV in the
I can
21st
look here.
New series PT4 under page 1 of 2. Faith in the Easter. Close book music ending.
And there it is. We've pasted it in there. Praise God. Let's open it up and listen to what that sounds like.
Share. Play. Button. List. Button.
This is royalty free, so we don't have to worry. Okay, again, that's royalty free, so no copyright issues there. But that's how easy it is to copy and paste something.
Book music share.
Now,
book music and play.
I want to show you one other thing.
Book music and
what if you're in a location and you want to save to files? What is that going to look like? So let's get out of this folder.
Shared by search icon. New full audio forward back back.
And let's indeed get out of the Files app altogether. Let's go to the
News, page 1 of 5, page 2 of 5.
Voice Memos app. Where is my Voice Memos app?
Clock, weather, font, iTunes, contact, short, voice memos.
All right.
Voice memos, record, button.
Let's pick a voice memo here.
No recording selected. New recording, edit, search. Dictate. Say record voice memo. Close button.
That's a nice little tip.
Say record voice memo.
We could use SIRI and say record voice memo from anywhere, and she'll do it.
New recording. 4-1. Reindeer. New recording. New recording. Light high part. December 19th, 2023. Duration 11 minutes, 20 seconds. Button.
All right.
Swipe up or down to select a custom action, then double tap to activate.
That's a voice memo that I've recorded. Let's double tap it. It's selected now.
Shop Walmart selected. Light high part.
Ooh, actually, let's use Shop Walmart. I like that one.
Shop Walmart.
This is a demo that I did of using SIRI to add items to my Walmart cart. The Walmart app supports this. So let's actually listen to it together.
Waveform mode. Current. Rewind. Play. Button.
All right, here we go. This is SIRI with the Walmart app. You can do this from your HomePod, your iPhone, your iPad, wherever you want. Shop Walmart.
What would you like to add to your cart?
Burritos.
You can get an 8-count family-size pack of El Monterey beef and bean burritos for $5.17 available for pickup and delivery. Add to cart? Yes, add to cart. Let's do to or next item.
Yes, add to cart.
Okay, creating. It's in your cart.
Thank you.
Don't mention it.
Done.
There, and wasn't that fun? Isn't that cool? So that's actually something you can do. If we're going to listen to something in a tech class, why not have it be tech? So there you go. So now there's a voice memo, and let's say we want to save this to the Files app. So what we'll do is we'll...
Roll and FP. Roll.
Oh, I got to go over to the right side.
Waveform current replay fast wave duration December shop Walmart toolbar edit playback settings delete move favored share button.
We'll say share.
Shop Walmart.
And in our share menu, of course, near the bottom is going to be save to files.
Dismiss pop. Copy. Edit recording. Voice memo. Ferrite. More. Edit. Duplicate. Favored. But moved. Add. Save to files.
There it is. So
Duplicate. Edit. Edit. Copy.
this whole list, edit, recording, copy, but look.
Add tag. Save to files. Button.
All right, I want to show you what this looks like.
Cancel. Button.
You have a cancel button at the left side,
Cancel.
upper left. If we swipe to the right, it's going to look a lot like our sidebar.
More. Button. Recently used. Button. Heading.
You have this recently used section,
Collapse. Actions available.
and it's expandable and collapsible. And it's a little different from the sidebar, but this is recently used places that we've saved to on this device.
Selected. Audio files. Button.
That's exactly where I'm going to want it, because it is indeed an audio file. So that's the correct location, but I could change it.
Audio exchange. 2023-24 recordings. Button. Locate.
And it would tell me,
2023-24 recordings. Button. Actions available.
Doesn't actually. Okay, let's keep going.
Locations. Button. Heading. Expanded.
Now we can pick a location if we want.
iCloud Drive. Button.
iCloud Drive, for example, and when you pick a location, it's going to bring up on the right side the files and folders. So like if I choose iCloud Drive, really I don't need to do anything because audio files is where I want this. But I just want to show you, if we do iCloud Drive,
Dismiss
then
vertical
on the right,
bar, 6 pages, book files, ATLC project, attached audio files.
I can pick one of my folders, and look at the top, there's even a
Dismiss iCloud Drive, new folder, button.
new folder button if you want to create a new folder to save this in. Now I'm going to
Dismiss Wednesday, April 10th. Dismissed. Selected. Locate to audio files.
go back to audio files. Before we save this, the other thing I want to show you is what's at the bottom right of the screen in this Save to Files interface, because that's important too.
Dismissed pop 259 items. Sync with iCloud. Vertical scroll bar. 26 pages.
Go to the right.
Shop Walmart. Text field.
And what is that?
Double tap to edit.
And
Tags. Button.
what is that?
Tags. Button.
Well, let me tell you what this is. This is a way that you can change the file name as you're saving it. If you don't like the name of the file that it has,
Shop Walmart. Text.
I can edit that, and I can call it something else. The other thing I can do is I can tag it right away,
Tags. Button.
which I'm going to do.
Tags. Heading.
We'll go into tags.
At the vessel. J. Fam. Podcast. TTJ. Selected.
TTJ, and we will,
Add tags.
I don't think there's a done button. I think you just dismiss it.
Dismiss pop-up.
And now,
Shop Walmart. Audio recording. Middle dot.
up at the top,
Voice memos. Backpack. Button.
okay,
Dismiss. Jessica Vault. Just audio recording. Dismiss. Shop Walmart.
what we've done now is we've tagged it.
Copy.
Then,
Copy. Edit. Edit. Move. Add. Save to files.
see, and add tags was there too, by the way. So now no matter what we do with it, it's tagged. But we're going to go back to save to files. And again,
Recent selected
we're still in the
audio
correct place.
files.
And we're going to go to the top right of the screen.
Available. New folder. Icons. Search. Save. Button.
And we're going to hit save.
Show sidebar. Button.
And so now if I go back to my Files app, 4-finger swipe to the right,
Files. Hide sidebar. ATLC. Audio file.
we'll find Shop Walmart. I'm going to scroll pretty quickly here.
Page 10 of 15. KBD1. Page. Mystery suspense. Rain ambience.
Getting close.
Recording. Remember. Rotary. Sad trombone. Safari. Scripture. Segment 110. Shop Walmart.
And there it is.
Signin.
There it is. Okay. Praise God. That's how easy that is. So what you've seen is quite a tour here of the Files app, and yet there's so much more, right? Let me just give you one other type of example with a completely different kind of file.
New folder. Audio. For. Back. Button. Back. Audio file. Documents. Full. Numbers. Full. PDFs.
Let's look at a PDF.
91. 1 underscore. Baptism 2008. Concert. You pay Kliph iPhone shipping link. Page. Concert. Course overview. Crayon. Created. Day. DJ. English Faith Aid. PDF document. 4/26/23.
This is a PDF that we use at some of our Christian events. If I want to open this up, I can double tap it. But
List. Button.
instead of audio, I can read this.
English Faith Aid. Actions menu. Button. Share. Button. Search. Autofill. Button. Markup.
You
Switch
can
button.
look at this. You can auto-fill this
Double
if
tap
it.
to toggle setting.
Now this PDF does not really need to be filled out because it's not a form. It's a document. But if it were, you could auto-fill it, and you can mark up this document with drawings or writings of your own. You can use Apple Pencil, all of that. But then here,
Done. But selected. Thumbnail for page 1. Thumbnail for page 2. God's word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. Psalms 119:105. I let the word of Christ dwell in me richly in all wisdom. Col. 3:16. I do follow the good shepherd because I know his voice. A stranger I will not follow. John 10:3-4.
so these Bible verses and so forth, that's the PDF document. It's reading that to me. And then what I wanted to show you is the share menu is going to have some different options now.
Done. Mark. Auto. Search. Share. Button. English Faith Aid. English Faith Aid. Send copy. Button.
We still have the choice of either sending a copy or collaborating, but let's go past the sharing suggestions.
Jessica. Nolan. Air messages. Mail. Notes. Freeform. Amber. Convoy. Art Studio Pro. Books. Button. Procreate.
So you can open it in Apple Books, Procreate,
Prismo. Zoom. Button. More. Button.
and listen to these.
Copy. Button. Print. Button.
We can print this out.
Add tags. Button. Save to files. Process in Prismo. Download file. Edit actions.
And I'm going to
button.
tag this
Saved. Add tag. Print. Add tags.
because I don't think I ever did.
Heading. Done. Add new tag. Faith. Button. Selected. Faith. The vessel. Button. JSBS. Faith Summit. Button. Family. Button. Selected. Podcasts. TTJ.
And we should
Purple.
put church too.
Look. Orange. Yellow. Orange. Or. Titan. Church. Button. Selected.
So we got a bunch of
Church.
tags on this, and we'll hit done,
Tags. Done. Button.
and
List. Button.
we'll hit done here.
Ink. Share. Search. Autofill. Mark. Done. Button. Hide sidebar.
And
new folder. Back.
We'll go back.
Forward. Back. 91 up. Zoom info. PDF. Forward. Back. Button. Back.
There we
Hide
go.
sidebar. Numbers.
All right. So we tagged that. We saw that we could print it. We never talked about printing yet because we really haven't had need to. We're going to be getting into Notes next week and Freeform and Apple Pages following that. And so you're going to need to know about printing. And you saw that we could print that PDF out. How does that work? Well, the answer to that is it uses a technology called AirPrint, which is built into every iPad, iPhone, all these platforms, and even your Mac, and it allows for almost any modern printer to be used without any special drivers or any special configuration, and you can, as long as the printer is a Wi-Fi enabled device, it will work. So my family and I have a Canon printer. Off the top of my head, I forget the model, but it's a color multifunction all in one, and it's a pretty high-end one. It has a lot of really cool features, but it is a Canon, and it is on our Wi-Fi network, and it's an AirPrint compatible printer, so I can print directly to that from my iPad. So it works with Canon, works with HP, Epson, Brother, all the major printer brands, almost any printer now. It used to be you had to really be thorough and selective and make sure, but really any Wi-Fi enabled printer now, you're probably going to have AirPrint support, and there's nothing else you need to do. Just make sure the printer is on your Wi-Fi network and make sure that your iPad is on the same Wi-Fi network as the printer, and you choose print, and it's going to allow you to select the printer. Of course, you have to make sure your printer's turned on. Ours goes into a sleep mode, so we have to wake it up, but that's fine. But you choose print, and it allows you to select the printer and the number of copies and all the other kinds of printer settings that you would expect from any good printer. You'd have all these options, and you can customize these things, and we may look at that later on when we get into Pages, but I did want to point out that that really does work. You can print from an iPad just as easily, actually more easily, I think, than from a lot of other kinds of devices.
Was it about tags? When you're saving an item, and it'll tell you tags on the side. When you're going through the save as
Yes.
dialogue. Okay, when it says that, can you create a new tag there, or?
Yes, when you double tap on tags, the very first item in that list was to add a new tag, so you could create a new one as well. Take care, everybody, and see you next time.
Thanks for joining today's session. Didn't get your question answered? Want paid one-on-one training? Email us at support@TTJTech.biz or support@stiritup.com. And remember, stir is spelled with a U. That's STURITUP.com. I'm Trainer Kliph. Thanks for joining us. God bless. See you next time.